Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Mike Ruffin, and I am so excited to be here with you this evening. And basically, my role here at Hampton City Schools is to help teachers to integrate technology in their lessons. And one of the things that we're always checking for is, are students mastering it? And when they're not getting it, what are we doing to help them? And so in our district, we really feel that Edulastic is the perfect tool to do that and really help to really see at what level that the kids are getting it. And so what I'm going to do is just show you some of the Edulastics that we have here in our district and how we've created those questions and how we're using them for biology. So I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, and the first one that I'm going to demonstrate is one of our genetics demos. All right, so one of the things we do is we use the matching questions, and some people might say, well, this is just regular matching, but what we love about it is we're able to add a distractor so that a lot of our students, they guess, they try to just pair things together, but adding that distractor, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So adding that extra distractor sometimes helps to really check to see, are the students just guessing? Or are they just using chance to try to get the right answers? And this is really easy. Kids just drag the information to the right spot. It's very straightforward. And for those that are new to Edulastic, this tool up here, I can actually switch between questions. I can also flag questions for review. This tool, question number 2, with this question, we're able to actually have students hover over specific words and choose the answers. So here we've asked students to read the story and select all words that are phenotypes. So those are the physical traits. So a lot of our students, especially some of our at-risk schools, they're really struggling with reading. We have students that are, some of them, below reading level. And so what we do in our district is we're starting to ask teachers to add more questions where students have to read. And with Edulastic, with the sentence response, it really helps students to read and to look for details. And so basically students are clicking on the answers that they think are correct, and there's also incorrect ones that are built in here. So again, this is a great tool to help students who are at risk, those who are struggling readers, to help build that reading while they're also building the vocabulary as well. A lot of times we think this is only for English class, but we're really trying to do more cross-curricular where we're actually embedding those things in our lessons. Okay, so what I actually did with this question, I actually did this one twice. And so with here we have the text drop down. And sometimes what we do in our district, we create the same question, but use multiple Edulastic tools. So this one's going to be the drop down. So here, Gregor Mendel was the father of genetics. He noticed that dominant genes, dominant traits masked over, covered up the recessive. So again, a student that might need more accommodations, might need more scaffolding, this is a way to help give them that support. Now I'm going to take that same question, and now the students actually have to type it in. So this is for more honors class, a class where we're again removing some of that extra support. And now again, they have to demonstrate at what level are you really getting this information. Okay, this is my favorite one. This one is called classification. In science, one of the issues we have is that students have a lot of information, but they don't know how to organize it correctly. And so again, the classification helps students to take what they've learned and put it into groups. So here we have homozygous versus heterozygous. Homo means same. And so all they do is click and drag the correct answers into the right boxes. So we really love this tool, really, really helpful. So what I'm doing is just modeling some of the questions that we've created in our district. This is the matching tables where they just click on the items that are correct. So purebred, hybrid. Again, these are not hard to create. Once our teachers are getting more and more comfortable, they're starting to see, wow, how can I actually use this? And we actually encourage teachers to use the backward design model. So basically we start with the end in mind, and then we start working backwards to how we're going to create our question in order to achieve that goal. And so that's one of the strategies we're using. Anyone that's reading Understanding by Design, that's another focus. This is a resequence question, and basically the way this works is students have to put the choices in the correct order. So here we're going to set up a genotypic ratio, and the order should be homozygous dominant comes first, heterozygous comes second, homozygous recessive comes last anytime I'm setting that up. So this is fun. With this tool, you can not only add words, but you can also add pictures. We've had teachers that have used pictures for succession, for a lot of different things just to show order. And so this is a great tool, again, to check for understanding. These are Punnett Squares. Now with this one, this is a drag and drop. I chose to leave the dotted, the box here so that students can actually see where to drag it. For students that actually are a little bit more confident when it comes to this, you can actually remove that. But we found that a lot of our students for genetics, they're just guessing. And, oh, I saw it on the board one way, so I'm just gonna kind of throw it in there. And so some of our students, they struggle with allele versus genotypes. And so having them choose the correct one. This question actually has multiple parts built in it. So here they have to determine heterozygous. What does that mean? They have to choose, do I pull one letter or two letters? And so again, the goal is checking for understanding. Like Stephen was saying, it's not just about putting together an assessment, it's about, am I designing a question that's really helping me to see if they're really mastering the material? Okay, and this is another one. This one, we're again adding more rigor. I'm going to skip through that one. Again, this is the multiple sequence, multiple selection where there's more than one correct answer, someplace called the hotspot. And so again, we're just checking for more and more understanding. In this question here, we're having kids put in a number, calculating, and there's also the scratch pad. And so with the scratch pad, it has more tools that the students can access if they need to use the ruler, if they need to use the draw it tool. They have all these available for the question. So those students, I didn't bring my paper, I don't have a pencil. We got you right now because we have these tools right here, so there's no excuse why you can't solve that problem. All right, and I'm gonna skip through that question. Again, we have more where they're entering information, and then more classification. So what I want to do now is transition to ecology, because I want to show you the draw tool. It's the new Edulastic tool, and I'm really excited, and I've been modeling this with the teachers. And so I'm actually going to shift over to ecology and just show you how that tool works. Great. I'm actually going to go down to question number 12. All right, so here's the draw tool. So with the draw tool, what I recommend for teachers, you don't have to have a 15-question assessment. You could have 2 questions, and those 2 questions, there's so much embedded in those 2 questions that they can actually, you can get so much just out of those 2 questions. I'm actually going to show you that. So here I have a picture, and this is the typical food chain. And the first question says, draw arrows between the pictures to show the correct flow of energy. All right, so they're gonna draw an arrow from the grass over to the grasshopper, from the grasshopper to the toad, from the toad to the snake, from the snake to the hawk. Then a lot of times students will stop and they're like, oh, what? I don't see how something, where do I go next? But then here, as teachers, we can see if they stop right there, we can say, oh, you didn't understand that the hawk dies. And so that's going to go in the ground, and then the nutrients from the ground go back into the grass, so it completes that chain. So that's question number 1. Again, as a teacher, I can assess that based off of how complete or incomplete their answers are when it comes to the drawing tool. Number 2, it says label the image. So, you know, our students in our district, we have Chromebooks, so they can use their fingers, but I'm actually going to model how they can type. Anytime we're using the typing tool, I always tell teachers, make sure you tell students to click exactly where you want the word to go. So we know bacteria is a decomposer. So I'm actually going to put the button right here and click, and the text editor goes on the side so you can actually see it. I'm going to type in decomposer, click update, and notice that it puts decomposer right above bacteria. So if you use some other PDF editors like Cami or DocHub, this works a little bit different, but it still works very effective. And so again, kids can label, they can draw, they have all of these features built right into the text tool. Okay, so here I've actually uploaded a word bank. So those students who are who need that extra support, we also have a lot of our inclusion classes that require them to have this word bank. So again, you can differentiate it, add more rigor or less rigor based off of what the needs are for the class. And I'm actually going to end on this question here. Now, you can almost put this question as the only question in the quiz and take the rest of them out. And we've actually had kids do this. Number one, it says draw an energy pyramid. And so I'm actually going to do this with the triangle here. I'm going to take it, and then I'm just going to turn it around. And awesome, I'm going to make it a little bit big. All right, and so I have my pyramid. And for the sake of time, go ahead and draw my lines. 1, 2, 3. All right. So question number 1 says, draw an energy pyramid and place each organism in the correct pyramid. So, okay, all right. So here's the grass, here's the caterpillar, here's the shrew, and here's the barn owl. All right. So based off this, I can tell, do they understand trophic levels? Do they understand what order that they need to put in? So I've already checked for understanding. Number 2, draw an arrow next to the pyramid to show the direction of the energy flowing. Is energy flowing up or is energy flowing down? If I see an arrow going this way, I know I need to go back and reteach. That's not good. All right, number 3, add the sun. This is so funny because every time we ask this question, students, guess where they always try to put the sun? At the top. And they think, oh, this is where the sun is supposed to be. And so then we have to say, well, this is the pyramid of energy. Does the top have more energy or does the bottom have more energy? Oh, it's the bottom because the grass gets their energy from the sun. So then I have the kids notate there. So again, based off of how they're drawing their picture, I'm actually able to see, are you getting it? Are you not getting it? What areas do I, as a teacher, need to go back and check? So I don't have to have a 20 question assessment. I don't have to have a 15 or 10. I can have 1 or 2 questions just as draw it questions, and students are able to give me feedback based off of where they're at. And some of our students, they shut down when they see so many questions. So sometimes the draw it tool really helps kids to, oh, I can draw, it's cool, I can relax, no pressure. And then, of course, you can add more. Use the 10% rule to label. So if I'm starting off with 15,000, it would be 1,500, 150, up to 15. So again, with Edulastic, there's so many tools that teachers can use. Again, my favorite is the draw it tool and the classification tool. But there's so many in there that help students with reading, help students to organize information, help students to sequence things in the correct order, and also just checking with the hotspot questions, are you able to pick all of the correct answers? Because some of our kids don't get it. Well, Mr. Ruffin, I picked 2 of the 3. Don't I get partial credit? No, in our district, you don't get partial credit. You have to get it all correct. And so, again, this is just some examples of how you can use Edulastic in the science classroom.